Hello! So today we're hoping to do a tasting event for all the ciders. Just like after a long day of works, I think all we wanted is some like sparkly beverages. Besides beer, we really enjoy drinking ciders. And I also know that it's very culturally different because where I came from, we normally associate cider with non-alcoholic apple juice. But I also know it's been very popular for the Western culture to drink ciders. So we are thinking, why not doing a tasting for all the ciders that we got from the local store, as well as some drafts that we got from the bar. Let's get started.
Of course, apples are not native to the Americas. They were brought over with European settlers when Europeans started settling here, and were actually the drink of choice for a long time. In fact, cider is such prominent a beverage that several founding fathers actually made cider at their estates. And there's a former president, William Henry Harrison, who ran on a campaign of log cabins and hard cider.
Because I remember you were telling me that the apple was tasting very bad in ancient time because they were all used to like produce ciders instead of like a fruit that we'll normally eat nowadays.
Exactly, yeah. So for the longest time, actually, the most common type of apple that people would grow are cider apples, which are very bad if you just try to eat it. But if you turn it into cider, you get a delicious beverage.
It's like bitter or?
It's more bitter, it's more tart. The skin's tougher because you want the tannins that the skin will give you. It's very different. And in fact, the shift in trends of growing apples came from Prohibition because there was suddenly no alcohol to be sold. And so these cideries were like, hey, we've got all these apple trees that we can't make cider out of. Let's cut them down, plant the good apple trees for eating. They started to have eat-in-hand apples as well as what we think of as cider nowadays in the US.
Another thing I find interesting is like I just read online and then I know US is a big consumer for all the ciders, but it's actually the most popular in UK and France where they drink the most of the ciders.
Exactly, yeah, and it actually used to also be the most popular beverage in the US, but with Prohibition, people found that it was more easy to just make beer than to make cider because you can produce it seasonally, whereas with apples, if you plant the tree, you have to wait a few years before you're going to get fruit. But it's super popular still in the UK and France where they never had Prohibition. Actually, one of the ciders we're going to taste today comes from Normandy, which is I think the main cider region in France.
Okay, shall we get started then? So today we have 6 to try. Let's start with the first one.
So this is Down East Unfiltered Cider. It comes from Boston, that's where this company is located. And this is marketed as being just like the ciders you drink as a kid, so sweet and eminently palatable. Yeah, you can do it.
Ah, nice. Do the
It's definitely got a very strong appley nose. You can see there's good carbonation in there, lots of bubbles. And we'll be able to tell better in a minute, but it is cloudy.
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yep, very sweet. You get a little bit of that tartness, so it does actually remind me, I think they did a good job. It does remind me of the ciders you get fresh from an apple farm.
Or sometimes you associate with those like juice box, but just like alcoholic version.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, it is kind of like juice box apple juice almost. Now this second one is from Graft. It's their farm floor.
I love the packaging.
It's very cute packaging. This is a dry table cider. And so this is going to be a little bit more traditional in that it has higher alcohol content. It sits at 6.9 and it's drier. So it's going to be dry, tart, but probably also very delicious. Alright, give it a nice pour.
Oh, by the way, this glass we got it from Six Point, which is a local brewery in Brooklyn. So hopefully next time we can try a lot of beers that we can got. This one definitely smells a little funky compared to the first one.
Yep, I'm definitely getting the funk. It's also, you can tell, not as carbonated as our first one.
And the color is clear.
Oh yeah, let's hold that up. So that's much lighter, and this has been filtered, so it is pretty much see-through, whereas this one's quite opaque. So that kind of has like a tartness, but it's actually quite pretty light. I would say it's similar to drinking white wine almost at this point.
I definitely agree. It's less sweet. It's definitely dry.
All right, on to number 3. So this is the Sweater Weather from Shaftesbury in Virgins, Vermont. So actually I wanted to get some woodchuck because as you can see, I went to school in Middlebury for my master's, and woodchuck is right in Middlebury. But unfortunately we weren't able to find any, so we found the next best thing, Shaftesbury. So this is also a more traditional cider in that it is at 8%. But this was also aged in whiskey barrels. So you should get a little of the oaky vanilla, maybe some whiskey taste.
Wow, this is the spiced version, right? Because I definitely smelled cinnamon.
Okay,
So
yeah,
different.
definitely. Yeah, this might have been brewed with some spices in it by the smell.
Okay. Feels like it's very autumn winter drinks. But it just not suitable for the weather today, which is like 26 degrees.
Yeah, so you definitely get a strong cinnamon palate as well. It's not very sweet, but it also doesn't taste super dry despite sitting at 8% ABV.
That's true.
I like this is quite good. All right, our next offering from Shaftesbury is their Vermonter. So the Vermonter has actually been brewed with juniper, so it should give you a kind of gin-like taste. So it's got that piney note that juniper will give you.
Okay.
Let's give it a try.
Wow, like that sound.
All right, well there's our Vermonter.
The texture looks like a beer. It's definitely more carbonated compared to the first one. It's a floral note that I can smell. Okay.
Why don't you give it a taste?
Wow, it's very fresh. I feel like it's in the spring, walking in the park.
Yes, definitely, yeah. I definitely feel like you taste more of the floral notes of the juniper as opposed to the piney notes in this.
That's true.
This is quite nice. When we visited the cidery during my first year of the Masters, before I met you, in fact, I tried this one and remembered liking it a fair amount.
On to the next one, I need to introduce dun, 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 Angry Orchard. I feel like maybe because I really love this because it's just like so approachable. You can get it in any stores. It just like have this sharp, sweet crispness that I just enjoy, like, you know, having it with dinner. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Let's give it a...
You can see this is also pretty light in color, not as light as our Graft, but definitely lighter than our Sweater Weather and our Vermonter.
That just smells like pure apple. Maybe I'm just too familiar with the taste and smell. I can't...
No, it does. It has a almost applesauce-like taste. Angry Orchard is definitely one of the more successful mass-producing cideries in the US. They provide a really good, like, apple-y product, and it's imminently approachable. So if you want to get into ciders, I recommend starting with maybe Angry Orchard's crisp apple variety or Woodchuck's standard variety, because those are sweeter, they're very apple-y. But the green apple is also a great place to start as well. So our last one is a Normandy cider. So usually these might stand at a higher percentage. This one's pretty low. It's only at 4.9, but you can see it's corked. And this is from Ferme de Romilly, which is Cidre de Normandie. Normandy
good.
cider. All right, 6.5 twists for a champagne cork. And
That's the standard?
Yep, cage is gone. And then the key to opening this is you want to put your hand on top, and then you twist the bottle, not the cork. And there you go. All right, on to our last one. We've got an appropriate champagne flute with this one, because
Whoa.
it is very champagne. Ooh.
The color is very dark.
Yeah, it's almost an orange color. Now we've each got one. Cheers.
Cheers.
Really funky on the nose. It's almost like that barnyard smell. Let's see. It's labeled as brut, which means dry, but it definitely has a little bit of sweetness, I think just because the alcohol content is so low.
I'm not sure it's either mineral or like from the soil, but just like kind of funky. I don't know how to describe it.
Honestly, it smells a little bit like manure. Maybe we'll edit that part out. Like on the nose, you definitely get a really strong funk, but on the palate, it's kind of sweet and a little bit lighter. And it finishes in a note that I'm having trouble describing.
Me too. We're just not that level yet, but it's like interesting to taste it at the same time.
If you've tried this, please let us know what you think.
Now to the ranking. I think I need to try it one more time.
Montage of trying.
My ranking, number 1, always Angry Orchard, because I'm just so familiar with the taste. I think second one would be this unfiltered Donny House.
Down east.
Down east. Because I think my taste is just like I need something very approachable and like things are sweet. And the third one will be the Vermonter. It's very like classic and I think easy to drink. And then the fourth one will be this draft if I want something like tastes like a white wine. Fifth would be Sweater Weather because I feel like it's so unique. It's more, I told you about like the cinnamon taste. It will be suitable for a winter or like special occasion, but I don't feel like I will drink it day to day when I'm thinking of cider. And last one, I'm not sure about this French cider. Maybe we're just not up to that level to appreciate it as much.
I think for my ranking, I would have to go 1 for me. I really like this. In our current like climate and everything, I find the Shaftesbury Sweater Weather very nice. But I agree, I think it's more of a seasonal thing. I just think it happens to be the right season for me. And then I think number 2 would probably be the Green Apple, because I feel like that's just a solid choice. It's very approachable, it's sweet. Like I could drink this any time of year and be very happy. Number 3, I might go with the Shaftesbury Vermonter. Number 4, or graphed here. Number 5, the Down East, because I got a little bit of an artificial apple hint at the end of the second try. And I think number 6 is this one as well, just it's a little bit too funky for me. It's not really what I'm looking for in a cider. And as well as it being somewhat underproofed, like I think if you want to have a funky cider, it needs to be a little bit drier, because the sweetness and the funk don't really mix well for me.
Yeah, I think that's nice, but I definitely feel like this is all just things that we can get from the supermarkets. I definitely want to try something from the local bar. Maybe we should find something in the city and then just have a try from the draft. And then maybe sometimes they will offer things that are just from their sole distributors. But either way, it's a nice tasting.
Hello.
So we're heading to our first cidery tasting from a local store in Brooklyn. Trevor found this out actually.
Yeah, it's called the Cardiff Giant. They got a lot of local ciders on tap from New York State. But we're excited to give those some try.
Yeah, we'll see you in the store. Here we are. Let's go. So we just finished the tasting. It was very nice. Enjoy just like after a long day of work, there's something to look forward to on a weekday. And then all the ciders are very nice. Just so many different varieties, even though they all coming from New York State. but then each one has different style, the tartness, the fruitiness, and then I think a lot of them are very funky. Definitely different from what we normally get from the supermarkets, like the Angry Orchard.
Yeah, it was interesting. I found that they were a lot more proofy than usually you'll get from cider. So they were usually 7 to 8%. I think the highest was even 8.6, which just means that it's super dry.
We are here.
Okay, where are we going?
Our farm. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you find it entertaining.
If you would like to see more content like this in the future where we try different products, let us know in the comments below.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.